Hey, what up, film freaks? It's another episode of Video Ferox. Tonight, we're on week 3 of Blaxploitation History Month, where Theresa has picked the funky soul classic, Car Wash. Let's just roll the trailer and we'll get right into this.
They still do it by hand at Mr. B's.
Morning, Mr. B.
Morning, Snapper.
Only determination,
Got the big 3.
dedication, and a tough crew of men can get the job done.
Stand and deliver, honey.
They've got a sharp boss who always has control of the situation. They've got teamwork,
Hi, I'm Floyd. Ho! And I'm Lloyd. And we're the Futurists.
and most of all, they've got the will to work.
I don't want you to leave here without realizing what I can do for your car.
Like what? Take over the payments for me?
This is the wet and wild world of the car wash, a business a man can be proud of,
I want to work with the men, Dad.
where the only rule is do it with style. It's hard work, because sooner or later, everyone comes through here.
Yeah, did you happen to see a big, tall, black, blonde chick here with
Big black blonde
red
chick?
boots?
Listen, I'd like to talk to someone and get some information about a social disease.
Hey, brothers, I'm here to unite with you.
Hey, baby, how you doing? Good, I'm glad to hear that.
Between the washing and the cleaning, there's always room for dreaming that the next car through might be the answer to your prayers.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Well, praise this car, honey.
Thank you, miss.
But one thing is certain, when it comes to serving the public, these men will stop at nothing. George Carlin, Professor Irwin Corey, Ivan Dixon, Lorraine Gary, Jack Kehoe, the Pointer Sisters, Richard Pryor. They all come together at the fabulous, free-wheeling Soap Suds and Emporium where everything goes.
Boy, there's been some weird people in here today.
Car Wash.
Alrighty, welcome back from the trailer to Car Wash from 1976.
It is charming, it is funny, it's witty in places, poignant in places. It just kind of takes you gently through a day in the lives of this weird misfit crew.
This thing is so goddamn charming and fun, and no, it's not great art, it's not Shakespeare or anything, but it's just such a compelling cast of characters, of interesting, colorful dudes that I can't stop watching.
I mean, I think there's like one action scene in the entire movie, and it's more comedic slapstick than it is action.
I love the fuck out of it. You love the fuck out of it.
I adore it.
All right, absolute thumbs up all around. So should we just move on to the spoiler section? Not that we can really spoiler a slice-of-life movie that's a series of vignettes, but we're going to give it a shot. So,
Yep.
all right, so spoilers, ahoy.
I am your father.
This movie doesn't really have a narrative flow, A to B to C, and then resolution. This doesn't have the rising climax and whatnot.
Instead, it's just showing a day in the life. You're getting the impression at the beginning that this is what they did yesterday, and at the end, you're getting the impression that this is what they're going to do tomorrow. And there's a couple of hints that this day was a little crazier than usual, but not so far spiked outside the norm.
So, since we don't have a lot of story to tell you about, why don't we just run down the entire list of all the characters we have in the movie?
Oh, this will take a while.
This will take a moment. So we've got Lloyd and Floyd, a duo of would-be entertainers who are looking to get in big into showbiz.
They've got their dancing and singing numbers and, well, needs improvement.
There's Hippo, a large employee, but he's not like super fat or anything, he's just large. And he has the hots for the local prostitute who works the area.
I am not sure she works the area. She comes in a cab, she hangs around for a day, and the implication is she's going away. She drifted through.
We don't get enough data on any of the characters, so your interpretation is as valid as mine.
Yeah.
There's Lindy, the exceedingly flamingly gay one, played by Antonio Fargas, the future Huggy Bear. Snapper, the elderly shoeshine fellow, who doesn't really have a lot of story in the movie, other than kind of simping for Daddy Rich.
But he's also got just a couple of quiet lines. You get the impression that he's a fixture that's been there forever and will continue to be there until he passes away.
He had a picture of JFK, a picture of Martin Luther King, and a picture of Daddy Rich. And he very lovingly puts them up and kind of dusts them and polishes them and makes sure they're very much... So he has this little shrine.
They've got a whole character there. And he's just a little tiny side piece to what's going on. He enhances a lot of what else is going on. You know, just with as he watches the stuff go by.
We've got TC, the fellow with the amazingly massive fro. And his story arc is he is really hot for the waitress that's across the street. And he is desperate to win concert tickets. The radio is doing a 10th caller, call now and you get free concert tickets. And he wants to take the girl to the concert.
So there's comedy with him getting into the booth, not having money, him trying to get into the booth when the prostitute's on the phone trying to get hold of what she thought was a potential actual boyfriend, and he gave her a bad number.
He also has a story arc of he's got dreams of being a comic book writer. So he wants to create his own black superhero, The Fly.
He's one of the bigger characters in it, as well as being one of the people who gets more screen time.
We've got Abdullah, the recently converted black Muslim who has an enormous chip on his shoulder and is really angry with the world. And his counterpart, Lonnie, the ex-con, who is this serious, stoic boss of the crew, who really, he doesn't have any authority, but he has this force of personality to kind of keep everybody together.
He's just kind of a solid presence. You get the impression that if you're having girl troubles, you can go talk to him. If you just are down in the dumps, he'd listen. And then he'd come back and support, and you respect him, and that's where his authority comes from, is the respect the other people have for him.
He's more of a cool uncle than an actual father-parent figure to the crew.
He's the one you go to when your parents have decided they can't cope with you anymore.
And then we've got Goody and Chuko, the Native American with this kind of pig hat thing.
Oh, God. Bad taste in headwear.
And they don't really have a lot of story arc in the story. They're just more kind of bit players and color in the background. The biggest story that they get is that Chuko borrows the pig hat, goes and freaks out the secretary in the John, and she retaliates, but she retaliates against the hat, not the person, because that's all she saw. And so he's all pissed off and for the rest of the movie and doesn't wear the hat.
It's one of those very rare to actually see a Native American playing a Native American in 1976. So, hey, go them, even if the Native American he's playing is a bit of a moron.
Next up, we've got Geronimo and Scuggs. The Geronimo, he is this Casanova who is giving bad love advice to Scruggs, who is this cowboy, and he is so wildly out of place in a funky soul movie. He is a cowboy. And he picked up a little dose of the clap from a bad decision one night, and his story arc is he can't really tell his wife. He's afraid of what happens to him.
All through the movie, he's really, really worried about, how do I tell Cassie? How do I explain this to her? And he never does. And end of the movie, she's dumping his stuff out, and you can see he's generally grief-struck, and he's just a moron who was led astray by a buddy who is also a moron.
Next, we've got Justin and Loretta. Justin is, I wouldn't say contented working at the car wash, but that's his role, that's his place. He doesn't really want to be better than doing this every day. Whereas in Loretta is a, dude, go to college, make something of yourself. Unless you go to college, then I can't be with you. We need to break up.
Yeah, and you get the impression that maybe Justin started college, because she's saying finish at one point or another in there. So maybe he dropped out. Maybe he applied and was accepted, but never went. I do get the impression that he wants to do more than work at the car wash, but going to school he feels is a waste of time, or maybe he thinks he'll fail out and he doesn't want to feel like a failure. I'm getting the impression his feelings about college are very complex.
And Justin is the thematic core of the entire movie, where you have all of these characters and they're all like, they all want something a little bit better. TC wants to be the comic book writer. Justin doesn't want to go back to college, but his girlfriend wants him to. Everybody has desires to be bigger. Lonnie, he's an ex-con. He wants to, make his life better. He sees Abdullah on a collision course with badness. He wants to save them. So that's a theme that goes through all of their characters.
This movie, because it's so many just interweaving lives, there's no one unifying theme other than we work in or near the car wash.
And then rounding out our cast of characters, we've got Mr. B. He's the owner, and middle-aged, kind of high-end middle-aged white dude.
He wants something more than to be the owner of a hand car wash, but he doesn't know how to make that jump. He doesn't know how to make his car wash better, and he's just kind of stuck in himself and his thoughts and not really trying to fix anything.
And he's so mono-focused on staying afloat and keeping the business going that he doesn't listen to Lonnie, who comes to him with like, I've got good ideas. Hey man, let's get together and we can actually make this place turn a profit. And he's all like, no, I can't talk about this right now. We'll talk later.
I think I know how I can get you to connect better with Abdullah. And Abdullah, when Mr. B fires Abdullah, it is with cause. When you look at it, the guy's not showing up for work. He's showing up late.
He's got attitude out the yang.
But he doesn't really backtalk the boss. He's more getting grumpy up his coworkers' grills.
And interestingly, Mr. B is the white guy. He's the representative of the man, which then in a blaxploitation movie is usually the signifier of you're the villain. He doesn't really have a villainous streak to him. He doesn't have a racist bent to him. He has an issue of his monofocus and his cheating, but those are character flaws.
But you don't have any villains in this piece, which is part of what makes it, in my eyes, a slice of life. A slice of life doesn't have villains. It has people doing people things.
And then the last character we have is Ivan, Mr. B's son, who is, when I went to Evergreen State College, he is the type of guy we would call a Trostafarian. He is basically riding on his family's position and comfort so that he can be an iconoclast and kind of idealistic. His biggest character flaw is more that he's just naive.
He is that rich kid who comes into the inner city playground. Can I play basketball with you? Can I play basketball with you? Can I play basketball with you? I got no idea how to dribble. I got no idea how to throw a ball, but I can play basketball with you. He's got no clue. He's stoned out of his gourd. He has no idea up for down. It's right there in front of him what people are struggling with, what they're going through, and he can't see it because he's so stuck, like his dad. He's so stuck inside himself.
He's got a Chairman Mao t-shirt on. He's carrying Mao's little red book. So he has this ideology of that is this
the people
in his mind. He just doesn't know how to apply that people to reality.
I'm going to be one of the workers. I'm going to be one of the workers. And the workers are just looking at him. Go away, you annoying little puppy. Stop. I think one of them even tells him, stop playing at working.
And that's pretty much it for the core cast of characters. There's some other folks that we didn't mention because they're just kind of more bit players in the background and color and, you know, more props than actual characters.
Abdullah and Lonnie are probably closest to the core of a running storyline throughout. At the very beginning, when Abdullah comes in late, Lonnie's kind of calling him out on it and say, you know, and where were you yesterday?
And he was off hanging with his Black Panther friends.
Oh, you're hanging out with them. That's not a good... You don't have a right to talk, old man. Didn't you shoot some store clerk or something like... I don't remember what the exact line was, but basically calling him out for shooting a convenience store clerk.
Yeah, he throws it back in his face.
Throws it back in his face. And you can see that hits Lonnie. And you can also see Lonnie reaching out and saying, dude, don't go down my path. And he even indirectly says that more than once through the movie. You know, the dude, don't go down my path. And you see later the two little kids Lonnie has that he's trying to make money for. And it's just like, and the implication there is, you want to go down this path. The path that gets you kids that love you. Not the path that gets you a parole officer coming to your workplace and harassing you. And the parole officer isn't a dick. He's just a guy doing his job per his regulations, and he even says that.
But we're seeing it through the perception of Lonnie, who sees him as a bad guy, so he's kind of cast as a bad guy, or at least in a bad guy light, even though as objective viewers, like, yeah, no, he's just doing his job.
He got himself the white-collar job, and he's coming to check in and make sure the guy is in fact employed where he says he's employed.
And then Lonnie and Abdullah's story comes to a head. They're the very last scene of the movie. And, you know, Mr. B has Lonnie close out the cash register and close down the store for the day. And so he's there all alone at night, and he's counting the cash and whatnot. And then Abdullah comes in, and it's like, look, we'll take care of it. We'll talk to Mr. B tomorrow, and everything will be fine, everything. And Abdullah's like, no, and pulls a gun on him.
And there's just a mentor to mentee thing that you can see Lonnie has been trying to form and is finally accepted in the only heart-wrenching scene, really, of the movie. There's others that, you know, you feel for the prostitute when Joe doesn't pick up, or at the end of the day when Hippo is going away, and you can see she actually wants to connect with Hippo.
Or the cowboy walking up the street all alone at sunset, just carrying his suitcase of thrown out stuff.
Yeah, there's little ones, but this is the gut-wrencher, is that acknowledgement that the anger isn't going to go anywhere, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to go. And it was all through the anger, and now that the anger has been stripped away, what is he?
Actually, I've just had a sudden thought. If there's a theme to the movie, it's that everybody wants love and acceptance. I mean, Abdullah is desperate for the world to accept him as, you know, he's not his old name. He's now Abdullah. He's now his realization of his Black Pantherness. There's TC trying to get with the waitress and trying to get some sort of connection there.
This is obviously a group of people who are up in each other's business way too much. They know each other way too well, and they've got that closeness, but that closeness that sometimes is a bit of sandpaper.
They've managed to survive another day, and very clearly tomorrow is going to be the exact same thing again. Yeah, Lonnie and Abdullah, they have their connection, and they're the emotional core of the movie, and that's the note we end on. But it's still a lot of just kind of, well...
Tomorrow, how is tomorrow going to go? It's going to be much like yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. And maybe our pretty cashier gets to stay with the guy, maybe she doesn't. Maybe our prostitute manages to make a connection, maybe she just moves on.
And so the very last thing of the movie is they run through the entire cast of characters, and there's a whole bunch of B-roll that they basically just cherry pick everybody's best scenes from the beginning of the movie. And yes, that's kind of smart economically because, hey, we can pad up the runtime of the movie. We don't have to shoot any more footage. But it's also kind of this commentary of we're watching them do the exact same thing over and over and over again. It's poor old Sisyphus trying to push his boulder up the hill. Oh, God damn it, it's on the other side of the hill now. And back they go again.
And it's also, some of these characters, you never hear their names. Except in those end credits. You don't. And so you kind of need their names at the end. Because it's just like, oh yeah, the Indian guy and the Hispanic guy, they're kind of paired off through the movie. Oh, their names are Goody and Chaco? Okay.
We would be remiss in not talking about the music because the movie, people probably aren't going to know. Everybody knows the song Car Wash by Rolls-Royce. And the music permeates this entire thing. It's pretty much just, it opens with a little bit of DJ chatter and it just plays over the radio, over the car wash speakers all day long. So it's almost its own character.
It apparently drove one of the actors crazy because the entire time they were shooting, of course, they've got the same songs playing over and over and he was ready to just, stop. But one of the neat things about them actually playing it while they were filming is that various characters are kind of singing along to the music that's going on over the speakers. They're very obviously moving to that music that's going on over the speakers.
Particularly Lloyd and Floyd, when they're doing their little steam bath thing, they're very much making a routine out of it.
It adds an energy. The movie is high energy despite being slice of life. Just the energy of the guys trying to make it look like this automated car wash, which is what it was in reality, look like a manual car wash situation. But the music helped provide the energy that they were moving to make this look like this is a hand wash situation.
The thing that impresses me the most about the movie is you have this huge galaxy of moving parts that somehow manage to all still come together and function like an actual machine. I mean, there's no way that a script like this should have worked, and yet Joel Schumacher, the guy who did Batman and a bunch of other stuff, he managed to somehow make it work.
I think because the car wash itself is a character in it, and here it is, and these are moving parts within the character.
So there's almost a metaphor for what's going on the script page versus what's going on the screen. So
yeah, it's hard to compare to like any TV shows or anything because they usually have a limited cast.
Ebert, in fact, compared this to like MASH, the movie, not the TV show.
That actually is a good point. I mean, the only reason MASH the movie worked is when they were done filming all their vignettes, they came up with having the character Radar O'Reilly making announcements over the megaphone, and the music and Car Wash and the building itself become that tying together factor.
I don't think you could make a movie like this today. I know that, I think it was Ice Cube, he wanted to make a movie that was very much like Car Wash, and he did it with Friday. But even that wasn't a charming little slice of 70s time capsule like this movie was.
I think you can do it in other eras, but it would be a small independent, and it wouldn't be treasured until 20, 30 years later. And you've got enough TV shows now, that 90s show, that 70s show, that are showing Mad Men, that are showing the glories and the dark sides of past times. And I don't know if it would quite have this impact.
I know a movie that's very similar to Car Wash that isn't Car Wash. Thank God It's Friday. Where you have this disco on Friday night, and you have a whole bunch of interesting, colorful, wacky characters trying to get into the disco and basically interact, find love. Donna Summer, she wants to get her song played before the audience so she can actually make it big into the music biz.
Oh, that one!
That one,
okay.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I like about Car Wash over the disco one, it's not the pretty people. These are not the pretty people of society. The one pretty person they had in Car Wash was a caricature. The Hollywood Hills mother, that was the only caricature in the movie.
You can make an argument for Daddy Rich being one of the pretty people, but that was his whole shtick for the movie.
Yeah, that was his whole shtick. But and a lot of these people aren't even trying to be the pretty people, the rich and famous.
At the end of the day, Car Wash is a light, dumb, goofy, fun comedy, but there is a little bit of intelligence to it, where you do have a little bit of social commentary about race relations and work culture and work roles and that sort of thing, and the belonging.
It's about how people interact with each other on a one-to-one level and why they interact with each other on this one-to-one level. That'll do it for the night.
That'll do it for the night, I guess. All right, we'll catch you next week.
Yep. Yay!
Yay!
Buddy's Dispensary is Winchester's headquarters for party supplies, legal beverages, cold soft drinks, and beer. So the next time you're planning a party or wish beverages of any nature, remember, Buddy's, 49 North Maple, Winchester, will keep you in the best of spirits.
Alrighty, my funk soul brothers, that wraps it up for Car Wash. Next week, we're going to be wrapping up Blaxploitation History Month by picking Ashley's movie, Truck Turner with Isaac Hayes. So that's going to be a blast. Join us here for that. Drop us an email, thevideonastyproject@gmail.com, and until that time, I want you to stay funky. Evil, I meant evil.
Honey, I am more man than you'll ever be, and more woman than you'll ever get.